Heartwarming blind date surprise. Millionaire CEO reveals hidden truths that changed everything. Emma stood behind the counter of the bustling diner, juggling coffee cups and plates, her spirit shining like the bright Chicago lights outside. At 28, dreams of her own bakery danced in her heart, fueled by her family's humble roots, where her parents taught her the value of hard work and community. She longed for a taste of freedom, a life where her passion could flourish. But tonight, in the chaos of orders and conversations, her best friend, Mia, urged her to take a break and join a blind date. Just a distraction, Emma told herself, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and dread. As she entered the quaint downtown cafe, her breath hitched. Across from her sat Jack, a striking figure, dressed impeccably, radiating confidence. He was the young CEO of a tech startup, his reputation spanning across the nation. "Hi, I'm Jack," he said, extending a hand with an easy smile. Emma felt an electric connection. Despite their stark differences, something clicked. As they chatted, they peeled back layers of polished exterior, revealing vulnerabilities and shared hopes. Jack admitted the weight of societal expectations pressed heavily on him, an endless cycle of pressure to maintain a facade. Emma listened, feeling a blend of empathy and understanding. For too long, she battled her own feelings of inadequacy in a world that often favored wealth over passion. Amidst laughter, banter, and the rich aroma of coffee, the connection deepened, transcendently beautiful yet fragile. But then the phone call came, a voice on the other end urging him to consider his roots, his obligations, and to rethink the direction of his heart. "Jack, you shouldn't be with someone like her," the voice said, dripping with condescension. Emma's heart sank. She felt like a lightning bolt had struck, sending her world spiraling. Breathing deeply, she fought back tears, realizing how society often dictated worthiness. The charm of the night turned dark, each word drawing a fissure between them. Jack's face paled as the call ended, the weight of expectations settling like a toxic fog. Emma's resolve wavered. Just as she felt hope blooming for connection, roots from his world tightened around them. Jack's internal struggle reflected on his face. I don't want that," he stammered, pain flickering in his eyes. "But they'll never understand." Emma's chest tightened. Could he truly break free from the ties that bound him? Just then the cafe seemed to fade away, the atmosphere thick with unspoken words. Emma felt small yet strong. "You can choose what success means for you," she whispered, vibrant yet trembling. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As the night concluded, Emma and Jack walked out, shadows slipping over the pavement, both questioning everything they shared. Would Jack take the leap into the unknown, risking it all for an authentic connection? Could Emma believe in her worth amidst whispered judgments? The air crackled with unfulfilled possibilities, leaving them at a crossroads, wondering if love could conquer the chasm society created, or if their moment was merely a spark destined to extinguish. The tension lingered, an open-ended emotion inviting what might come next. Emma stepped out of the cafe, the cool evening air hugging her lightly, as if trying to soothe the discomfort left by their strained conversation. The city vibrated around her, full of life and energy, yet she felt detached, as if a fog had rolled in between her and the bright neon lights. Next to her, Jack mirrored her internal turmoil, a frown etched on his handsome face. "Emma," he said softly, catching her gaze. His brow furrowed, revealing the storm of thoughts swirling inside him. "I don't want to lose what we've started here. But it feels impossible." She turned to him, her heart racing. "You don't have to worry about losing anything yet. We just met. But what's scaring you?" Jack let out a shaky breath, his eyes clouded with uncertainty. "I have this life, this world," he gestured vaguely, "and people expect me to fit a mold. A perfect image that doesn't include someone like you." His voice cracked, caught between grief and guilt. "Someone like me?" Emma repeated, her heart constricting. "What does that even mean?" He looked away, anguish raw on his face. "You're real, Emma. You represent everything I've ignored to chase success. I want what we talked about, the real unvarnished life, but I don't know if I can abandon everything I've built. Her chest tightened as she fought against the tears threatening to spill. And maybe you shouldn't have to abandon it all. Maybe you can carve out a new path, one that includes both of us. Jack shook his head slowly, desperation lining his features. But what if it doesn't work? What if I lose everything? What if we're just dreaming? Isn't that what love is? A leap into the unknown? Emma's voice softened, the yearning behind her words palpable. We're both scared, Jack. But what's the point of living a life dictated by others? What about our joy? She watched as the flickering streetlight illuminated his face, drawing the worry into sharp focus. For a moment the world around them faded, leaving only the two of them suspended in uncertainty. Turning again, she took a step back into the cafe, her heart pounding in her chest. I need to keep working on my dreams, Jack. My bakery, my freedom, and if we're meant to be together, you'll figure out your dreams too. Emma. He began, a plea in his voice. No, let me finish, she insisted, her spirit ignited. I won't wait around feeling second best. You have to choose for yourself. If that means letting me go, I'll accept it. Jack's expression darkened, a fresh wave of emotions washing over him. I don't want to let you go, he murmured, stepping closer, his desire tangible in the cool air. Then maybe we need to talk about what it means to be together, Emma said, her own voice trembling with hope and strength. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to break free. True success is being happy, right? He stared down at her, his gaze intensifying. She could feel the electric tension crackling between them, thick as the night air. Yet uncertainty loomed like a shadow, threatening their fragile connection as they stood there. A small crowd gathered behind them, laughter and chatter blending into an ambient backdrop, a world alive while they remained trapped in their uncertain moment. Emma, Jack finally said, determination flashing in his eyes. I want to try if you can be patient with me. Just don't wait too long, she replied softly, her heart a mix of hope and fear at a moment past, filled with possibility. As they walked side by side, the flickering streetlights above illuminated the path ahead, uncertain yet full of promise. But beneath the surface of their budding relationship, a storm brewed, one that neither of them could foresee. Little did they know that external forces were lurking, determined to shake the bond they just began to forge. Would Jack's struggle with his identity and societal expectations truly pull them apart? As they strode into the night, uncertainty wrapped around them like a cloak, leaving more questions than answers. One heartbeat echoed in their minds. Could love truly conquer all, or were they simply lighting a fuse destined to explode? Emma thought about their conversation as they walked down the bustling sidewalk. Jack's presence next to her was both reassurance and cause for anxiety. Their dreams felt entwined yet perilously different. The flickering lights turned the night's air into a surreal mixture of hope and uncertainty, a promise she desperately wanted to believe in. Hey, she said, her voice breaking the silence. What if we make this work together? I mean, really work. Jack faced her, his blue eyes glinting in the fluorescent light. I hope you're right, he said quietly. But I need time to figure out how I fit into my own life and yours. This is all so new to me. Emma nodded. She understood the weight of his words. Change wasn't easy, especially when it threatened everything one had built. But she couldn't give up the dream of them two paths converging into something beautiful. You've been ruled by expectations for so long. Maybe we just need to redefine what success means for you. As they approached a small park, a gust of wind swept through, sending leaves swirling around them. Emma remembered the sleepy afternoons spent in coffee shops, dreaming up bakery ideas mingled with the laughter of friends. She squeezed Jack's hand, comforting them both. I want you to carve out your own happiness, Jack. I want you happy. Just promise me you won't ignore that part of you anymore. He smiled softly, a glimmer of hope breaking through the clouds hovering in his mind. You make it sound so easy, but I feel like I'm walking into uncharted territory. Maybe I can help you navigate it, she said, returning his smile. It felt nice to share not just words but a vision. Let us discover our paths together. No more hiding. With a sense of purpose igniting between them, they continued their stroll. But as night deepened and the streetlights hummed, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that shadows loomed close behind. She felt it in her bones, a whisper of doubt that curdled in her stomach. A sudden commotion erupted nearby. Emma turned her head to see a small group clustering around a man whose voice boomed over the crowd. Insider trading. Let us expose the truth that the elites don't want us to know. He held up a sign that flashed the name of Jack's company. Emma's heart plummeted. Jack, this is about you. Jack's face paled. What? His voice was barely above a whisper. They're coming for you, Emma replied, her own thoughts racing. You're part of this world they want to unravel. He shoved his hands into his pockets as they stepped closer, straining to overhear. The crowd's energy crackled with fury, a terrifying wave of outrage. What if this turned into something bigger? What if this affected Jack's life, his reputation? We should go, he said, gripping her arm. But Emma felt rooted to the spot. Jack, what if this is bigger than we realize? What if you have to choose between your past and what we just talked about? His eyes searched hers, pooling with fear. What do you mean? What if you have to expose what's happening to save yourself and everything we're building? The weight of her words hung heavy in the air. They had just started, a flicker of hope ignited. But with shadows lurking, would they be prepared for the truth? With every heartbeat, the pressure mounted. Could they stand together against what was coming? Or would the storm shatter them both? As the crowd roared, uncertainty loomed more significant than before, and the next move would change everything. Emma's heart raced as the crowd grew louder. A cacophony of outrage and demands echoed through the air. Jack's grip tightened on her arm, his face a mask of confusion. What do you mean expose? He asked, urgency creeping into his tone. We don't know what they're accusing you of, Emma replied, her voice steady but soft, trying to infuse strength into the chaos. But if this is about insider trading, and you're involved, I can't help but think, what if you hold a key that could change everything? Jack turned his gaze back to the speaker, who was passionately rallying the crowd, painting a vivid picture of greed and corruption. Emma could see the tension in Jack's shoulders. He seemed to be wrestling with thoughts unseen. The way he looked at the crowd was a mix of fear and empathy, as if he understood their struggle even while grappling with his reality. Do you think it's true? He finally asked, looking down at her. Have I been part of something corrupt? Emma shook her head. I don't want to believe that. But you need to confront this, Jack. You can't hide. The voice from the crowd boomed again, proclaiming the need for accountability. It was infectious, stirring something inside Emma that she had buried too long. Perhaps it wasn't just Jack's responsibility to heal the rift between their dreams, but hers too. With a deep breath, she took a step forward, dragging Jack along with her. Let us hear what he has to say. You need to see this from their perspective. Reluctantly, Jack followed her into the throng. As they approached, she could feel the palpable energy, individuals looking for truth, for justice, and for connection. The man shouted again, his words sharp and piercing. Jack's company has profited at the expense of the community. The truth must come out. Jack swallowed hard, his face growing pale. Emma, we should leave. I don't want to be in the middle of this. I can't let you run away. Not again. If you're going to fight for your future, you need to face this, she urged, her determination blossoming. A murmur rippled through the crowd, and Emma could feel their collective gaze shift towards Jack. The sudden attention was electrifying. What would he say? They wondered. What did he know? Jack, Emma said, grabbing both of his shoulders, forcing him to meet her eyes. You can't run. You need to confront this. If we're going to be you need to take control of your narrative. Jack's expression softened, uncertainty battling with recognition. He needed Emma. He couldn't depend on what others wanted him to be anymore. I don't know how, he finally admitted, his voice barely a whisper. You start by standing tall. Speak your truth, whatever that might be. You owe it to yourself, she said, feeling the weight of her own words. Breathe, find your center. You're not alone in this. The crowd surged, their voices raised in solidarity. Jack could see the earnestness in their eyes, the hunger for change. He hesitated a moment longer, his heart racing as he faced the unknown. And then a spark ignited within him. Okay, he breathed, as if finally making a choice. But before he could step forward, a figure from the back pushed through the throng, waving a folder in their direction. Jack, we need to talk. It's about the accusation. Emma's pulse quickened. Whatever was in that folder could either break him or free him. Jack, she said, voice steady despite the tremor in her stomach. Are you ready to face this? He stood there, caught between the past and an uncertain future, the eyes of the crowd heavy on his shoulders. What choice would he make in that moment, and how would it shape not just his destiny but theirs? As the figure approached, Emma wondered if this was the moment everything would change. The figure got closer, the crowd parting like water around a stone. Emma could see the folder clearly now. It looked worn, edges frayed, as if it contained secrets waiting to spill out. Jack's eyes widened as recognition dawned. Mark. Jack's voice cracked, momentary shock tipping over into disbelief. What are you doing here? Mark stepped into the light, his expression a mix of concern and urgency. I had to find you. It's important, he said, darting nervously between Jack and the surrounding crowd. Emma's instincts flared. Trust wasn't easy to come by, especially in a moment like this. What's going on? She asked firmly, her protective instincts rising. What's in that folder? Mark took a breath, holding Jack's gaze. It's about the allegations. I've seen something that could change everything for you. The crowd waited, leaning in, their collective breath held. Jack's heart pounded. Change everything, how? Before Mark could respond, the speaker from the front, still fanning the flames of outrage, boomed, "Don't let him distract you. Jack needs to own up. He's been hiding behind his power for too long." The crowd erupted with shouts and jeers, and Jack flinched as the name thrown at him stung like a slap. Emma could feel the heat of the moment rising, but something in Mark's eyes held promise. "Wait," Jack began, raising his hand and cutting through the noise. "Let him speak." Silence fell, the tension palpable. Emma squeezed Jack's arm, a silent assurance as Mark opened the folder. "There's evidence here," he began, his hands trembling slightly. "Evidence that suggests someone has been framing you. The numbers don't add up. They're targeting you to divert attention from their own misdeeds." "Framing me?" Jack echoed, both relief and dread crashing against each other inside of him. "But why?" Mark stepped closer, urgency spilling over. "Because you're the face of the company. They think if they bring you down they can save themselves. But I have documents that prove transactions were manipulated, files you need to review." Jack felt the crowd's eyes shift once more, doubt still lingering. "Prove it," someone shouted. "We need more than words." "Let me show you," Mark replied, holding out the folder to Jack. "You deserve to know the truth." The air was thick with expectancy, as if the crowd was waiting not just for Jack's reaction, but for hope itself to emerge. With shaking hands, Jack took the folder, his heart racing as he flipped through the pages. If this is true, this could turn everything around. Emma leaned closer to Jack, her breath warm against his ear. "But if it's a trap, what will you do?" The shadow of doubt cast by the crowd seemed to waver under the weight of possibility. Jack felt torn, adrift between two shores, the reassuring safety of silence and the risky leap into transparency. "Jack." The speaker's voice cut sharply through the quiet once more. "This is your chance to stand up for what's right." Jack clenched the folder tighter, uncertain of his next move but acutely aware that the moment of truth was now. He looked from Mark to Emma, then back to the crowd. I need a moment," he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. As he stepped back, feeling the pulse of the crowd surround him, he realized who he could truly rely on to navigate this storm. And standing beside him was Emma, unwavering, ready to face whatever would come next. But a sudden realization washed over him. What if exposing the truth put everything they had at risk? "Jack," Emma urged, "what do we do now?" The weight of his decision loomed heavier than ever, yet the eyes of those around him gleamed with anticipation. Would he dare to embrace the chaos for the sake of clarity? As Jack looked into the crowd, he understood this was the moment of genesis or ruin. And he could feel it, the world was watching, waiting to see if he would rise like a phoenix or crumble to ash. Would he find the courage needed to turn the tide? Or would he let this opportunity slip away? The choice lay ahead, and the answers felt just out of reach. The air crackled with tension as Jack gripped the folder, his fingers trembling against the worn edges. He dared not look away from the crowd's expectant faces, each one a mixture of curiosity and judgment, as if their very opinions could shape the outcome of this moment. "Jack," Emma whispered, her voice steady but laced with concern. "What are you thinking?" He glanced at her, feeling the gravity of what lay ahead. "I'm thinking this could change everything." Yet a nagging fear gnawed at him. What if unveiling the truth only exposed them to more pain? Just then Mark cleared his throat, drawing attention back to him. You owe it to yourself, Jack, to know the truth even if it's uncomfortable. His eyes flickered to the audience, then back to Jack, imploring him to act, but doubt loomed large. What if the evidence Mark provided placed them all in danger? Jack could feel the weight of every decision crushing down on him. A choice between vulnerability and silence. What will you do? Emma pressed, her emerald eyes searching his face. He knew she believed in him, and perhaps that was part of the problem. Should he believe in himself too? Then it hit him. Beneath the layers of pressure, of accusations and anger, there was a glimmer of clarity. A chance. Jack's voice grew steadier as he spoke to the crowd. Maybe this is a chance to clear my name and expose the real criminals. Cheers erupted from parts of the crowd, a wave of encouragement that spread among them. But Jack also noticed the skeptics, whispers of uncertainty creeping back into the air. Prove it. Someone shouted once again, their tone harsh and demanding. Jack's heart raced. He needed to make a decision. He turned to Mark, who was waiting silently, his eyes filled with a mix of hope and fear. If you have something to show, let us do it now, Jack said, determination igniting within him. Mark nodded, relief washing over his features. Right. Follow me. He sprang into action, leading Jack away from the thick of the crowd, Emma falling in step beside him as they moved. Jack's pulse pounded in his ears, drowning out the assorted voices shouting behind him. Mark led them to a quieter space near the edge of the gathering. A small nondescript corner surrounded by faded banners from past company events. Here, Mark said, pulling out a laptop from his bag and quickly booting it up. I've got the documents right here. The screen lit up, showing detailed spreadsheets and graphs that seemed to swirl with promises of clarity. Jack leaned in, scanning the information. Each line told a story of deception, manipulations that made his blood run cold. This isn't just speculation, Jack said, his voice tinged with both disbelief and indignation. This is concrete proof. Exactly. If you go public with this, you can clear your name, Mark encouraged, desperation weaving through his words. But you need to act fast before they catch wind of it. Jack met Emma's gaze, feeling the weight of their shared hope and fear. Are you ready for this? He asked her, heart pounding in unison with the thought of the repercussions. I am, Emma replied without hesitation, squeezing his hand. The resolve bolstered his spirits, but uncertainty still twisted in his gut. There would be no turning back. The risk of failure loomed as large as the potential for redemption. As Mark aligned the screen to face the crowd, ready to reveal the hidden truths, Jack felt a tidal wave of emotion. Would they believe him? Or would this just deepen their animosity? He couldn't shake the worry that exposing the truth could lead to them losing everything in return. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward, ready to face the crowd yet again. He felt Emma's reassuring presence beside him, grounding him in this storm. With the weight of the world on his shoulders, Jack began, I want to share something that could change everything. But before he could dive deeper into his speech, a loud, piercing voice cut through the gathering. Stop. Jack, you can't trust him. A figure emerged from the crowd, and time seemed to freeze. Jack's breath caught as he recognized the familiar face, someone he hadn't expected to see. Not now. Could this be the very person behind the allegations? Or something even worse? Questions raced in his mind, uncertainty thick as smoke. What other secrets were lurking beneath the surface? He needed to find out, but would the truth set them free, or lead to their ultimate downfall? Jack's heart thudded painfully against his ribcage. The voice that had sliced through his speech was unmistakable. It belonged to Lisa, a former colleague turned rival, whose ambition was only matched by her ruthlessness. She stepped into the light, her expression a mask of determination and disdain. What are you doing here, Lisa? Jack managed to ask, his voice betraying a mix of confusion and anger. The crowd shifted, whispers fluttering like leaves in the wind, as they surged forward, eager for the unfolding drama. I'm here to warn everyone, she shot back, her eyes locking onto Jack with a fierce intensity. Mark is lying. He is not your friend. He is playing you. Jack felt his stomach drop. The trust he had placed in Mark now felt precarious, like glass teetering on the edge of a table. What do you know? Jack challenged, stepping toward her, his own conviction rising. Is this just another attempt to discredit me? You think I want to bring you down? Lisa sneered, rolling her eyes. No, Jack. I'm trying to protect you from the truth. Mark is in this up to his neck. You're just a pawn in his game. Stop, Emma shouted, stepping in front of Jack, her voice cutting like a knife through the tension. We came looking for the truth, and if you have something to say it clear. She turned to the crowd, her fiery spirit capturing their attention. We all deserve to know. The crowd murmured, intrigued. Jack felt a flicker of hope. Could Lisa provide the clarity they needed? But doubts clouded his mind. Could she really be trusted? Fine, Lisa relented, her voice softening. But only because I know what it's like to be accused of something you didn't do. She gestured at Mark, her indignation spilling over. That document you've got? It's a smokescreen. I have evidence of financial discrepancies that point back to him. Just look deeper. Mark's nose flared, anger flashing across his face. You're delusional, Lisa. This is insane. His voice was trembling now, but there was a hint of fear lurking behind his bravado. Jack glanced between the two, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on him. This was no longer just about him. They were entangled in a complex web of loyalty, betrayal, and survival. Emma squeezed Jack's arm, her eyes steadying him as if to ground him in this storm. What do you want to do? She asked softly. I need to see your proof, Lisa, Jack replied, resolve firming around his words. If Mark is lying, then I need to know. Lisa nodded, almost grateful for the opportunity to speak out. Meet me tomorrow at the cafe by the park. I'll bring everything I have. Her gaze shifted to the crowd. You all think you know who the bad guys are, but it's time to look closer. The truth will come out, but only if you're willing to see it. With that, she turned sharply, striding back into the shadowy crowd, leaving behind her words like shattered glass. Jack's mind raced. The stakes had escalated beyond his control, revealing an even darker undercurrent beneath the surface. What was the truth really hidden in those documents? Could the answers they sought unravel the mysteries, or would they only lead to deeper divisions? As the crowd buzzed with uncertainty, Jack felt a surge of determination. They were at the edge of something monumental. I'm going to meet her, he declared, his voice firm and steady. But we need to be cautious. If Mark is involved with all of this, he trailed off, the enormity of the situation sinking in. Emma nodded, her expression a mix of admiration and concern. We will find out the truth together. As they prepared to leave the gathering, uncertainty loomed larger than ever. Every answer came wrapped in more questions, and Jack couldn't shake the feeling that not everyone would embrace the truth if it threatened their interests. But one thought consumed him. What if the truth he uncovered could shatter their lives yet unify them at the same time? The crowd began to disperse, but Jack's mind remained fixated on what lay ahead. Tomorrow would bring light, or it could bury them all in darkness. What secrets would that meeting reveal, and what choices would Jack have to make next? A heavy weight pressed down on Jack as he walked away from the gathering. Emma walked beside him, her silence a comforting presence as they made their way through the dimly lit streets. The streetlights flickered occasionally, echoing the uncertainty swirling in Jack's heart. I can't shake off this feeling, he confessed, his voice low. What if she's right? What if I've been blind this whole time? Emma looked at him, her brow furrowed with concern. We'll find out tomorrow. You need to go in there with an open mind, not just doubts. You deserve answers, Jack. Answers that could ruin everything, he muttered, running a hand through his hair. What if the truth turns everyone against me? I can't let that happen. Then don't. Stand your ground. No matter what happens, don't lose who you are in this fight. You're not just some pawn, and you don't have to be what anyone else says you are. Her words were steady, but Jack could hear a tremor of fear behind her fierce facade. He decided to change the subject. What about you? You'll be there, right? What if Lisa tries to pull something? I'll be right beside you, she reassured him, a small smile breaking through the tension. You're not in this alone. They arrived at Jack's apartment, which felt unnaturally silent, weighed down by impending shadows. The familiar space now seemed sterile, like a blank canvas waiting for color. Every piece of furniture felt judgmental. Every inch of wall seemed to whisper doubts. Jack tossed his bag onto the sofa and flopped down beside it. I wish I knew what was truly going on. I don't want to be played like some fool. He closed his eyes, trying to clear his mind. Visions of Mark flashed before him, friendly chats, late meetings, laughs shared over coffee. Those memories suddenly felt tainted by suspicion. Maybe this is the moment when you'll see all the pieces. Emma's voice snapped him back. Tomorrow could change everything. Or destroy it, he said, staring into the distance. The night crawled by slowly, each tick of the clock echoing louder than the last. What if Lisa's information was a twisted version of reality? The possibilities rattled through him, making it hard to breathe. When morning finally dawned, it arrived with harsh sunlight that felt less like warmth and more like a spotlight. Anxiety bubbled in his stomach as he prepared for the meeting. He wore a crisp shirt, but it felt more like a suit of armor, a thin shield against uncertainty. You've got this, Emma said as they walked toward the cafe. We'll face whatever is coming together. As they approached the bustling cafe, Jack spotted Lisa at a corner table, her gaze scanning the room with an air of confidence that set his nerves on edge. She was already playing her part, and he wondered what dark turns this performance would take. Jack inhaled deeply, his heartbeat pounding in his ears. "Okay, let us do this." They walked to the table, every step heavy with uncertainty. As they approached, Jack steeled himself for whatever revelations awaited them. "Thanks for coming," Lisa said, her tone surprisingly neutral. "Let us get to the point," Jack replied, unable to mask the intensity in his voice. Just as Lisa reached into her bag, the tension thickened. The cafe bustled around them, but Jack's focus narrowed. Would this moment break him, or would it unite them all against a common enemy? And in that instant he realized there was only one way to find out. What did the future hold? And would they be ready for the truths that were about to wash over them? Lisa opened her bag slowly, deliberately, as if drawing out suspense from every corner of the room. Jack's heart raced, the cafe's lively chatter fading into mere background noise as he focused solely on her. The air around them felt electric, thick with anticipation. "What I have to say," Lisa began, her voice steady but edged with a sharpness that sliced through Jack's composure. She pulled out a folder, the unmistakable glint of documents just visible through the top. "It's important, and it concerns all of us." Jack's mind raced. He could feel Emma's presence beside him, her energy pulsing with worry but also fierce determination. He shot her a glance and she nodded, urging him to hold on. "What are you talking about?" he asked, cutting through her vague buildup. "Just say it." Lisa leaned forward, eyes narrowing slightly. "Mark, didn't he just keep things from you? He was involved in plans that could change everything for this company, and for you." Her words hung in the air like a bitter aftertaste. Jack couldn't breathe, his stomach twisted at the sound of Mark's name. "What plans?" he managed, his voice barely above a whisper. She slid the folder across the table, sending it skittering to a stop in front of him. "This contains the information he didn't want you to see. I found it weeks ago. It's crucial." With shaking hands, Jack opened the folder, skimming through pages filled with figures and projections, notes in Mark's handwriting. His mind raced with disbelief. This is insane. But as he read, the pieces of the puzzle began to assemble, forming a picture he wasn't prepared to face. "Why are you helping me?" Jack shot back, suspicion tugging at him. "What's in it for you?" "There are no sides anymore, Jack." "Not in this," Lisa said softly, her sharp facade fading, revealing a flicker of vulnerability. "I've seen what secrets do. They tear people apart. I won't sit back and let that happen." He felt Emma's hand squeeze his arm in silent support. Her eyes, wide and worried, urged him to trust. But doubt still prickled at Jack's mind. Was she truly on his side? A knot of anger twisted inside him. Could he really believe anything she offered? He inhaled deeply, swallowing down the fog of confusion. "All right, let us take a closer look then. What exactly is Mark planning that I'm missing?" Lisa took a breath, gathering her thoughts. "He's been negotiating behind-the-scenes deals with competitors, ones that would put you out of business. It's treachery, Jack. But you can stop this." And before she could finish, a loud crash echoed from outside. Jack's head whipped around just as a commotion broke in the street. People were shouting, and the sound of sirens pierced the air. Something was happening, something big enough to draw attention away from the cafe. "Let us go," he said, adrenaline surging. "We need to know what's going on. This could change everything." Emma nodded, but the worry in her eyes deepened. Jack grabbed the folder instinctively, cradling the evidence against Mark as they moved toward the door. Outside, chaos unfolded. A crowd had formed, faces drawn and anxious, staring at a massive screen that had suddenly blared to life. An emergency announcement cut through the din, and Jack's stomach dropped. Urgent news regarding a security breach at the company. The voice crackled and Jack's heart raced. What did this mean for him? For his future? The piece of clarity he thought he'd found only minutes before felt like a house of cards, about to collapse at the slightest gust of wind. As the voices around him rose and fell, Jack knew this was just the beginning. The truth was about to unravel, and he'd have to decide quickly where he stood. Would he confront Mark head-on? Or would the blind trust of the past guide him into a deeper abyss? The sirens blared louder, pulling him closer to the edge of something monumental. Jack, are you ready? Emma asked, her voice cutting through his racing thoughts. He took a deep breath, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. No, but I have to be. And with that, they stepped into the unknown, where every choice could ignite a new blaze. What if the truth wasn't just a weapon but also the key to something greater? Jack's heart raced as he stepped out into the chaos, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within him. The energy of the crowd around him pulsed with a mounting urgency, a blend of curiosity and fear that mirrored his own. Jack. Emma's voice cut through the ruckus, grounding him momentarily. You have to make a choice. He squeezed the folder tighter against his side, the evidence contained within feeling heavier than ever. The announcement on the screen continued, but it felt muffled, an abstract echo of the tumult within him. Everything hinged on this moment. Would he embrace the truth, or retreat back into familiar shadows? He caught a glimpse of Lisa, her expression a mix of determination and worry, standing just beside them. This isn't just about you anymore, she urged, urgency lacing her tone. People deserve to know the truth, whatever the consequences. Jack nodded, an ember of resolve igniting inside him. The truth had power not just against Mark but for himself. I'm ready, he declared, voice steadying under pressure. As if the sky amplified his declaration, a sudden roar erupted from the crowd. News reporters had gathered, cameras zooming in as they caught sight of the escalating tension. The buzz of anticipation swirled, demanding answers. What will Jack do? Someone shouted from the back. What should I focus on? Jack turned to Emma and Lisa. If I expose Mark, could I lose everything? Or is this the moment I truly reclaim my life? Emma took his hand, her grip firm and reassuring. You're not alone. Whatever you choose, your choices shape who you are. But don't let fear make that choice for you. He thought of the dreams he had chased, the life he wanted to lead, filled with honesty and purpose. A world void of secrets seemed so far away, yet within reach at this one pivotal moment. He felt the weight of his past meld into hope for the future. Okay, Jack began, stepping into the unfolding chaos, gathering his courage. If I'm going to do this, I'll go in authentic. I'll confront not just Mark but what it means to truly stand for something. The crowd surged forward as he reached the center, the screen flickering behind him. I need you all to hear me, Jack shouted, his voice amplifying over the chaos. I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But the truth isn't always black and white. He paused, heart thumping as he focused on Emma and Lisa, their unwavering support fueling him. I've always played by the rules, but I'm done being a pawn in someone else's game. The crowd began to quiet, attention shifting to him, faces straining to read his next move. Jack took a deep breath, the world around him shrinking into clarity. I've been accused of things I didn't do. I stand here ready to fight, not just for myself, but for every single person who feels powerless against accusations without evidence. From the back, someone yelled, "What do you have to say about Mark?" Jack felt a rush of adrenaline. Mark is involved. He has been working behind the scenes. But listen to me. He turned his gaze, bearing his truth. I'm not here to tear him down. I'm here to stand for the truth, even if it means walking away from everything I thought I knew. The crowd buzzed with reactions, some cheering, others uncertain. Jack could sense a change in the atmosphere, a spark igniting hope anew. Let us show you what's really happening, he said. He presented the folder, holding it high for the crowd to see. This is proof. Proof of deception. If you want to know the truth, Then let us expose the hidden lies together. The murmurs in the crowd shifted into a rising defiance. Jack's heart soared. This was their moment, one that could reshape their futures. Emma stepped slightly forward. We all deserve transparency. Let us find the truth and demand accountability. Together. Cheers erupted, voices melding into a chorus demanding justice. The atmosphere rippled with energy, transforming fear into collective strength. From the back, Mark pushed through, his face pale and angry. Jack, you don't know what you're doing. Jack faced him, shock fueling newfound courage. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm choosing authenticity. As they stood captured between past insecurities and present truths, Jack stepped closer to Mark, resolving their tangled paths with fierce determination. Change is coming, and it's time for you and this company to face it. Emma and Lisa stood by him, unwavering. The crowd flared with energy, a tidal wave of solidarity pooling around them. Suddenly, Jack felt something shift deep inside, a feeling of liberation unlike anything he'd known. Their journey was just beginning, but the goal was suddenly crystal clear. The truth was worth fighting for, and it would bind their lives in ways he'd never imagined. Let us show the world our strength. He yelled into the crowd, his voice ringing with vibrancy. Together they would rise, rewriting their narratives among the unyielding truths that once threatened to divide them. As the crowd rallied, Jack felt empowered. A once muted voice amplified, weaving dreams anew among the bonds of community. This was more than just a fight. This was a journey toward discovery and acceptance. He was ready to embrace it all, his past, present, and the promising future that awaited. And in that moment, he found clarity, a once adrift heart anchored to new horizons. Now the story had come full circle. The crowd surged forth, and he knew love and truth united could overcome any obstacle. The world could only wait for the awakening that was about to unfold. But he was not going to let it wait any longer. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that unfold. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help more people find their own truths. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. Your support is what truly makes all of this possible.